was like, really? Like, that's all he's gonna want from you? Like,
Yeah,
are you kidding me?
No.
I was like, nah. But, like, yeah, they play that card big time. And it is. It's like, I don't want to be in a relationship that's solely about sex. Like, I enjoy it, but it's just like, no, it has to be about
Well, my
more.
frustration is all through high school. And I believe that it's kind of like where you are and who's around you. And it reflects everybody's decisions, meaning, like, growing up with all the guys that I went to school with, if this group were doing these things, so say they were sexually active, they all kind of started doing that. And that's all they cared about. I can't tell you how many guys broke up with me because I would not give it up.
Oh, yeah. No,
And then I'm
you.
feeling like shit.
Yeah.
Like, I need to pull my pants down so we can stay in a relationship.
Oh, yeah. I felt that so many times.
But if I go to Tennessee, where some of my family is, I feel like those men wouldn't be that way.
No. It is a cultural thing, and I feel like city boys are worse for it. Like...
Well, and technically, we're country.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's not. If you go...
It's whether or not you're raised by old Southern traditions or not. Because I feel like the boys that were raised with old Southern traditions are more respectful of women. It's the kids, it's the guys out there that either didn't have parents or didn't have a dad or or parents just weren't present in the home. Like, that's why I say city boys, because they're usually both working. The kid just, like, you know, does his own thing and it's just whatever.
Right, and which is why in my head I'm like, I need, like, a good country man.
Yeah, I always felt that. Hey, farmersonly.com. I hear good stuff about it.
Oh my god, me too.
Farmersonly.com. That's a shout out. Farmers Only.
Sponsored by
Ashley Kennedy's podcast.
Seriously though, it's a struggle.
Dude,
and especially now I'm starting all over. So I don't even know what I'm walking into. And I mean I've made some bad decisions here being fresh on the market, but
on the market. Yeah, no, we all do. And it's, like, so hard because I do feel like there's this major pressure of, like, I mean, girls like to have attention and love. And listen, guys, just because a girl agrees to crawl into bed with you, that doesn't mean she wants to go all the way. Like, honestly, like, half the time I'd be looking for a cuddle and it would be like, no, like, I had to choose, like, what was going to happen.
Right. Yeah, I mean... I can't tell you how many times I have, say, you're in bed with somebody, just cuddling, leads to kissing. It's like an automatic signal for them to think that we're about to get down and crazy.
Oh, yeah. I feel like they watch too many porn.
Excuse me?
Sorry. I'm trying to Yeah, like, I just don't get that.
And then, have you ever been in that situation? Say you're making out. Have you ever been in this situation where things are escalating, they're getting heated up, and you decide to try to make the right decision by saying, like, whoa, like, I'm not ready for this. This is going a little too far. Like, watch out for the mans. Yeah. And then they're pissed. And then they throw at you, well, what the fuck? I'm gonna have blue balls now.
Oh, yes.
What is that?
Like, that's not my fault. And why should I feel bad about that?
My shit's throbbing too, but I'm not ready for this.
That's great.
Seriously, is that a real thing?
That has happened.
No, like they make it.
I don't think it really happens. No.
I don't know.
When I was younger, like I thought that if I did that to a guy, it was like the worst thing in the world.
Right, like I just
and that they would go to the hospital.
Them in the nuts.
Yeah, because they're like that is the worst thing. They like
no, they're like you don't understand the pain that I'm in. The pain. If you don't pull your pants down, and if we don't have sex,
yeah,
you've got to take me to the hospital,
right?
Because I'm gonna get blue balls.
I mean,
what is that?
I don't know, but it's absolutely disturbing because it actually works on young girls, and I feel like
it really does.
It does because
you like
that guilt, but you know what?
You feel bad.
Guys know how to play the guilt factor so heavy.
Heck yeah!
And we have a whole nother bottle of that. So, cheers.
Yeah. No, seriously. Well, first of all, when I first heard that, of course, I always ask questions. I don't care. Yeah. And I did. I'm like, what the hell are blue balls? Is that like a disease? You got like an infection? What's going on? Because I'm not trying to get blue vag. No, thanks. No, and like he literally was like, okay, so all this foreplay that we're doing, like I can't explain it really, but the pain that I'm feeling if I don't get off.
That's nonsense.
No, and you gotta understand, this is the first time I'm hearing it, so I believed him.
You're literally like, I've already started this, I have to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's not fair for him, you know?
Right.
We both started it.
It's
only my job to help finish
like, guys like that, like, need to get punched in the balls and be like, okay, that's what pain feels like.
That's sick to even make somebody feel that way.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
And if it really is, like, some horrible pain, which I don't get, because as a woman, when you start feeling good, you feel like this sensation, more like a throb, and I guess that's what I picture for a guy. I don't know. Maybe we need to really ask. We need to find an honest person.
Research.
Seriously.
Listen, I'm pretty sure, and if there's any doctors out there listening that would like to, email us, hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and give us some advice in this aspect. Like, does it really hurt? I mean, is it really that bad?
Right.
And if so, what do guys do to, like, avoid that? Because I know a lot of grown-ass men that never have that problem. I mean, never have that problem. I only heard that when I was a young girl.
I couldn't kiss a guy without whacking him off.
Right. That's
no,
crazy.
Like, it's all, like, and maybe that changed, which a lot of things changed my perspective on men for a while, so I started venturing out, but I don't know, I don't like that.
No, I mean, it's super deceptive, but it's not all guys, and it really isn't, but there is a problem with, like, the way boys and men have been raised for a long time to think and talk a certain way.
I feel like a lot of these men or boys, hopefully, are being raised the correct way, but it's who they surround themselves with.
Right.
And what they're learning from others.
Right. There's too much going on in society, though, that condones that kind of behavior. I mean, it's really true. Like, the woman is guilty if she wears a short skirt and gets raped. Like, the woman is guilty if she goes to a bar and gets too drunk and gets raped. Like, because you shouldn't be in that situation and be drunk. Nonsense. Guys are in those situations all the time. Okay? And that's not happening to them. Like, because women don't do that. Like, that's not a normal behavior for women. Why? Because society doesn't train us to be that way. There's no other reason around it.
There are some women.
Of course, but I'm just saying, like, on the majority.
Yeah. I mean, it's just awful.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I grew up thinking everything was going to be so different, which I blame it on Disney. I blame it on Cinderella.
I do blame Disney, but
I blame it on all of that.
But that's for, like, we can blame them for our perspective, but who do you blame for the guy's perspective? Because that's all learned behavior. You are not born thinking that way about women. That's learned behavior. I'm serious. Because anywhere you look in culture, like, where men treat women a certain way, it's because it was passed down from generation to generation, and that's their culture, and that's how they treat women. And I'm telling you, like, Americans need to realize that we don't have a perfect culture, and we need to start teaching our kids some different things.
Right.
Like, I try to treat, I'm telling my son all the time, I'm like, we don't play. You treat a woman with the utmost respect.
Yeah.
And
I always wondered with the situations that I've been in, like, are your parents like this? Because I can't wrap my head around that.
Probably Dad is. Dad probably treats the mom like that, and she allows it, and it's this never-ending cycle. That's why you can't allow it, and that's where I feel like there always has to, you have to be the first one to say to that guy, no, that's nonsense, and I'm not going to do it that way. Because even if you break up, he's going to learn something, hopefully, and won't keep repeating this behavior, and then teach it to his kids. Like, somebody's got to tell these people that's not okay, and it's got to be the young girl that's in that situation, because no one else is going to be able to be there and intervene. That's my advice to women, is,
Right.
like, stand up for yourselves. Like, I wish someone had encouraged me to stand up for myself more. But I think both me and you have that tendency to be passive and manipulated a little bit.
Heck yeah.
Because
that's definitely an issue for me.
Mm-hmm.
I try to always see all sides of stories. And I always I don't focus just on mine. So when I hear somebody else's story, which turns into manipulation, yeah.
You're, like, empathetic. Empathetic is a word I use for myself all the time. And it's not, like, some kind of bragging thing. Like, empathy is just, it's just an emotion. It's a feeling like anything. But, it, like, not everybody has it. Not everybody understands it.
Yeah, but I also think it's not really the greatest thing to have, because you get wrong people that come into your life, and then you allow them to stay around for however long because of the empathy, right, and whatever stories they tell you and bullshit they put in your head.
And you're like, okay, you know, I need to
give
all
this
my
person
friends
a
chance.
Like that.
Like,
almost. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have some great friendships with a lot of my girls, but I also have had friendships, and they've all had the hardest life, this, that, and then I get dragged into it, and I've had relationships like that.
Yeah. Oh, no, one of the biggest things...
And it really sets me up for failure.
Right. One of the biggest things about growing up for me was realizing that not only did I have a problem with choosing men, but I had a major problem with choosing friends. And it was like, because I kept getting devastated. I've been more devastated by friendships than I have by...
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot, because my relationships have devastated me multiple times and in ways that I didn't think I could recover from. But, like, my friendships, when that happened on top of it, it was, like, mind-blowing. I literally felt like I kind of went crazy for a little bit, just trying to figure out what, like, my life fell apart. My whole world fell apart. Thank goodness I had my kids to keep me, like, at least focused on surviving and getting by and keeping my job and doing all that. But, you know, you realize, like, I mean, you got to be really careful who you cherish and who you bring close to you, because, you know, friends take as much advantage as anybody. And they'll be quick to sit there and listen and be like, oh, you know, I hear your story, I sympathize. Then if it's not about them, they're going to hurt you. They're going to be first. They're going to come first. Like, it has to be mutual. Everything has to be mutual.
And there's always jealousy. You know, I can't tell you. I mean, in 6th grade, I had these 2 girls stay the night with me. And they left the next day. And I think I had to, like, clean up my room or something. And I found a note from when I was asleep, and they were just bashing me through, like, a written letter, which is so weird. Like, why couldn't y'all just talk? But I guess that was the thing to do.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, there's always jealousy. If you have too many friends, you always have that one friend that's like, why are you hanging out with them? You need to hang out with me. Right. Like, friendships are hard. They're super hard. Girls are hard.
Yeah.
I definitely had way more guy friends
than
girls growing up.
Well, I started to do that, but, like, one of my best friends, like, I knew her since I was 10, like, and I remember in 9th grade, you know, we became, like, different, because we weren't little kids anymore. She got that preppy style and was this cutie little girl, like, doing all that and hanging out with all the, you know, preppy kids, and I was more of, like, a weirdo, like, goofy, awkward, didn't have that girl, like, woman thing yet. I'm wearing, like, mismatched socks and, like, pigtails and an oversized t-shirt. And she was like, I remember one day at school, she looked at me and she's like, oh my God, if you can't start wearing matching socks, like, we can't hang out anymore.
Oh, I totally believe you.
But I totally accepted that, and, like, it didn't change my style, but, like, I remember groveling and being like, oh, I'm sorry for embarrassing you. Like, now in my life, I'd be like, fuck you. Like, go find another friend then if you don't like what I'm wearing. Yeah. My clothes don't, like, define you. Like, no. Don't put that on me. And that was, very much like some of the male relationships I had, you know. One in particular was just like that. I mean, told me about myself every day, and I couldn't change well enough. Everything about me was awful, and I needed to be a whole new person. Like, when you get away from something like that...
Right, but instead of you leaving that person, you question how I can change myself or transform myself into that person to to be with them.
Right.
And it should never be that way. You either accept me for